Here you have voice. As you know very well, as you have learnt in your lower classes, voice are of two types. One is active and another one is passive. Active and passive. And see, I will give you some example for this. I wrote the test. I spoke. I sent a letter to my father. I am whitewashing my house. I have given you 3 sentences, and here, as you have already learnt, let us see the sentence pattern. This is subject, verb and object. This is also subject, verb, object, do, io. This I am whitewashing is a verb, this is a subject, and this is object. Here the subject is doing something. The subject I is writing or wrote. It is in the past tense. So I wrote the test. The subject is doing something. That means the subject is active. Active. Doing means active. Something. So I sent here also the subject I is doing something. Writing a letter or sending a letter. So it is active. The subject is active. And here also whitewashing. This is the action done by the subject. So these sentences are called active voice. These sentences are in active voice. So in all these sentences, the subject is doing something, subject is active. Okay. But in passive, subject is not doing anything, but instead of that, something is done to the object. See, I wrote a letter. In this sentence, the subject is doing something. This is active voice. Active voice. Whereas in passive, something is done to the subject. So naturally, this will come to the beginning of the sentence. Okay, a letter was written by me. A letter was written by me. Something is done to the object. So object takes the place of subject in passive voice. In passive voice. And the verb is made into passive. Mostly in passive voice, we use the third part of the verb. Verb is converted into passive and we use the third part of the verb. Write, wrote, return. So return is taken into account. Return is used in passive voice. Only the third part. The past participle of the verb. But how are we going to show the tense in that sentence? So only the helping verb, auxiliary verb, shows the tense of the sentence. Since it is past tense, was is used. A letter and the subject is singular, so we are using was. If the subject is plural, we will be using were. Okay? And at the end, the I is transformed into by me. By me. So it is changed into pronoun. Okay? This is how we change active voice into passive voice. So, wherever you see the passive voice with the sentences, if there is the third part of the verb and in front of that, if there is one auxiliary verb, the sentence is said to be passive. Okay? I think I need not give you the table for conversion. Your teachers might have given you. So, let us go to the exercise directly. Here, and one more thing is given. And the active voice. Only the verb shows that. Verb shows the voice of the voice. So, in this we have two types. One is intransitive and transitive. Transitive and intransitive. And let us see. I went to Madurai. I went to Madurai. Here we have subject and verb, and this one is adjunct. And if there is object, we can change it into passive. If there is no object, we cannot. If there is no object, we cannot change it into passive. So, this type of sentences, SVA sentences, cannot be changed as passive. So, this type of verbs are called intransitive verbs. The verb which cannot be changed is called intransitive. I wrote a letter. This can be changed into passive. A letter was written by me. This can be changed into passive. This kind of verb is called transitive verb.